Yo, what's up everybody? This is Frostbite doing Naruto chapter 672 review, and I've come to the conclusion that this is called the 8th gate of death for a reason, because not only does it kill the user, but it kills everybody that is being used against. This was an excellent chapter. It was such a shift from last chapter, such a shift from almost any of our previous chapters, just because of like the fast-paced action and all the melee, all the fighting, and even it actually put a decent amount of dialogue in there as well. When we first start off the chapter, Guy is in like what has to be the most uncomfortable fighting position that could ever even exist, like ever. I'm serious. I tried it and it was uncomfortable. It's not practical. It hurts. But the move Night Guy is in itself is super devastating. What he did to Madara is he kicked him so hard that he broke his ribs. He broke Madara's ribs, and at the same time he broke every bone in his leg. Okay, Kishimoto, I have to give him props because he's been hyping this up since the first part of the series, and he delivered. This is legit. He started whipping that air around him, and the attack was like lightning fast. Like nobody could even tell how fast it was going. Now, before he actually did the attack, I saw this panel right here. And my first response was, yo, this is some bull. But this flashback was actually particularly nice compared to what we usually have. Usually it's like a flashback that maybe takes up like 11 plus pages to like maybe like the whole chapter, and then the only thing that actually mattered in the entire chapter was probably like a few pages in the beginning or a few pages at the end. Not this chapter. It was short, it was sweet, it was appropriate to the situation, mainly because it was a flashback in which it was showing a situation where Kakashi and Guy actually first met. And to tell you the truth, Kakashi was really like an arrogant, cocky little dude. I know he was strong and like charismatic and everything, but did you really have to say stuff like that? I mean, Kakashi's like, bro, you don't even know ninjutsu. Go home. You're weak. But I bet you he couldn't take him in the fight today. That's funny. That's funny. But at the very beginning of the chapter, before we got to the Guy scene, we first saw the Naruto and Sasuke dual panel, the split panel that they've been doing for a while. It's kind of an old concept, but this was basically one that was actually useful. Well, not particularly useful, but this was actually pretty appropriate. We see Sasuke, the reincarnation of Indra, with the crescent moon on his head, and then we have Naruto with a circle. I guess it's supposed to be the sun, but it looks like a plain circle. Come on, he could have put like some squiggly lines, you know, anything of the sort, but you know, a circle would do. I figured out what it was. Now back to Guy's attacks. When he's fighting Madara, he broke his headband. I think both of his horns are chopped off, and he's bleeding from the mouth. And Guy's not looking too good either. Madara's rib was broken. He actually, when he kicked Madara with his last attack, Night Guy, you can see that half of his body was almost completely like gone. There was a hole in his body. I'm pretty sure that Madara is using the Senju power right now to actually heal himself up, which is kind of cheap. You need to fix it. You need to quit being so cheap, Madara. But I guess it's explained. So whatever. Every bone in Guy's leg right now shattered. And then, that being his last and most devastating attack, he's gonna die, alright? He was, I guess the rest of his body was on fire. It wasn't just his chakra, but his actual body was on fire, and it was starting to like wear away, and you can see his foot, it was starting to wear away. This is obviously pointing at this is what happens when you go to the 8 gates. Now, I actually did have a problem. I have a slight problem, alright? Even though it's understandable and it is justifiable, I kinda have a problem. When Madara had a hole in his ribcage, Guy was on the floor, his shinobi essence dwindling. Madara said, "Thank you for entertaining me. As a token of my appreciation, let me kill you off myself." Even though he did it for the sake of killing the person that just put a hole in his rib, this was my guy dying with honor. You can't deny his honor. My guy did more than the 5 Hokage combined, the entire Shinobi Alliance combined. He did more than Naruto, and he did more than Sasuke so far, and that was actually pretty legit. He's been like the most helpful person in the war so far, which is actually pretty sad when you like weigh out the circumstances. So, my guy did a bunch of damage to Madara, and Madara was about to do a bunch of damage to him, aka he was about to kill my guy. But this would have been one of actually the best deaths in the series by far, because he did it with honor. I'm looking at you. But of course, that panel when it shows Guy's life force, it's full, it's dwindling. Naruto comes along. When Madara is about to finish him off, he kicks the chakra bomb out of the way, and he heals Guy. I had no idea he could do this. I don't know if this is like some type of like sage power, or if this is some type of like ultra medical ninjutsu. Whatever it is, I understand it, but it was my understanding that when you use the gate of death, you die. Right? That's all I'm saying. And I'm actually not that surprised, because since it was implied that God was going to use the 8 gates, I was just thinking the whole time, yo, he's going to find some way to get out of death. He's going to find some way to cheat death, and boy, we were right. Alright? I'm pretty sure everybody was thinking it. King of Lightning thought it, even though his theory was a little different. It's the same thing. Almost everybody knew God wasn't going to die, because for some reason Kishimoto just couldn't even bear the thought of killing off another character. Man. So the end of the chapter, we see Naruto just basically reviving Guy. Obviously he has some type of power, even though he looks the same. I would expect like some type of cloak. We haven't really seen any Sasuke done anything since he left. Since he left with the hermit. Naruto obviously has some type of increased healing ability. Most likely he's going to be ultra strong. I'm pretty psyched to see what's going to happen when he actually goes toe to toe with Madara. I'm really psyched to see what's going to happen when Sasuke gets there. But that was basically the end of the chapter. It wasn't much. It was mostly action, but it was good. It was good. The action was so good that I'm actually giving this chapter a 9.5 out of 10. So that's a 9.5. It was that good. The action was good. The crescent moon, the sun, everything's kind of coming together. This is obviously... The war had already hit a climax when Madara had, went Sage mode. But bro, this is like some type of hybrid mutant super climax now, because now we have like 2 sages, 6 path degenerates against the mock sage Madara Uchiha, who was OP to begin with. Yo, it's about to get real. It's about to go down. Now, if Guy wouldn't have been standing in that uncomfortable position in the first place and tore all his ligaments before he even kicked Madara in the rib, he probably would have still had his leg. That was just a little extra. But guys, this is Frostbite signing out. Naruto chapter 672. I will be back next week to do the next chapter. This is Frostbite signing out. See you guys later.